All right, welcome back, everyone, to Talking Toads. We got Reed and Austin here. I think we're going to call this episode Talking Toads After Dark. What do you think, Reed?
Yeah, this is the latest episode we've ever done. About 9:30 Central Time here in Texas, and yeah, we're just gonna be previewing the UNC TCU game. We were about to skip, I think both of us can agree on that, but we were like, nope, the people want it, so we got to give it to them.
Yeah, it's before the first game. It just felt right. It really is a big opener. It's not like we're just playing, some nobody. This is Bill Belichick. This is a big game, and to be candid with you and our millions of listeners, in researching UNC, I was surprised at how many storylines there are within the team. I'm excited to talk about a few of the things that I uncovered. So, no, this episode was definitely warranted, and yeah, the clock is ticking. We're less than a week away.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not like we're playing Prairie View A&M or Southern or Jackson State or whoever. This is a big boy game. Labor Day night, ESPN only game on. Let's go.
Yep, absolutely. Any big stuff from fall camp that you want to talk through? I would say for the most part, it's been not a ton of storylines, which I think is good. But I know you mentioned an injury that you want to keep a watch on.
Yeah, one name I keep seeing on the injury report from Jeremy Clark at Horned Frog Blitz is Devin Deal. It looks like he hasn't been practicing for the past couple weeks. I don't know if that's changed this week or not. Maybe they were just kind of limiting that injury just to get him to the first game. But I've seen his name pop up a few times, and obviously he's our best pass rusher for this year. So hopefully he'll be back in time, but I really have no clue. That's the only thing I have. Do you have anything else from fall camp?
No, I think it's everything that we covered. Really excited about the young wide receivers, including shout out Jacoby Hayes. Thanks for
That McDonald's clip has been going viral.
yeah. I love that he's tagging it too. He's trying to get McDonald's on board, and he was open to coming back. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. No, I think we uncovered a lot. Went through fall camp mostly, aside from Deal and maybe a few others, pretty unscathed, which is always a positive. And yeah, it seems like the guys are ready to go. So
Especially compared to the Gary Patterson years.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into North Carolina. It is Bill Belichick, obviously. Well, a lot of Belichick's we'll get into later, but is Gio Lopez? Is he's going to be the one that starts at quarterback for them?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, he's a South Alabama transfer. He's a lefty. Me personally, every time I see a lefty quarterback, I just automatically assume they're worse than a righty. I don't know why that is,
It
but
always looks like they're throwing an interception. That's for sure.
yeah, and it looks like their shoulders like popping out of socket every time they throw. But yeah, it looks like he'll be the starter. Then you also have Max Johnson, who's played at A&M and LSU, and he was the starter last year, but he snapped his leg. I believe it was at Minnesota early on last year.
Yep.
One of the worst injuries I've ever seen. But a quick note I want to bring up here is the line for this game. TCU's only -3. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's just Vegas not knowing what to do with this team, and in saying North Carolina, not knowing what to do with Bill Belichick and all these transfers coming in, completely new staff. Um, I have my thoughts on what I think TCU can do with that line, but yeah, I think people don't know what to make of this team. I think that's really all it is.
I think it could be said for both teams, honestly. Like TCU, we won 9 games last year, but it wasn't the strongest 9 wins ever. Then UNC, obviously, a lot of roster turnover, bringing in Belichick. So if it was me, I would have set the line at about -6 or so, 6.5 for TCU. So that -3 is a little scary. But yeah, moving forward to the North Carolina running backs, it looks like it's going to be Davion Goss. He had 67 carries for 326 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. To me, I don't know about you, but that kind of sounds like Jeremy Payne in a way, just with
Yeah,
the stats.
it does. I mean, they obviously had Amarion Hampton was the starter
Yep.
last year, and he went first round, so he took a bulk of the carries. But I know that they've talked in some of the podcasts and stories that I've listened and read to on this team. They're really excited about this kid that can run. But you're exactly right. I think he kind of fits that Jeremy Payne model of we've seen flashes, but we've never seen him be the top guy. So
Right.
Very similar to Jeremy Payne for sure.
Yeah. Then they also brought in a Michigan transfer, Benjamin Hall. They have a senior, Caleb Hood, then also a 3-star freshman in Damon June. I feel like North Carolina, they always have good running backs. You mentioned Hampton from last year, Giovanni Bernard, Javante Williams, Michael Carter. The list goes on and on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Davion Goss might put up a good stats on us.
I agree. I was thinking the same about their quarterbacks the last few years too, between Sam Howell, Drake May. It just feels like they have this lineage going on with quarterback and running back. Good point. That they seem to get some good guys that can make a run. So you might be onto something there with that guy.
Also, their jerseys. Like, if you have those jerseys, I feel like you're just going to have a good quarterback and a good running back.
One of the best branding, colors, jerseys in college sports. I mean, I love it on the basketball court, and it's really cool on the football field too.
This will be a great jersey game, especially at night. So I'm looking forward to that.
You think we're going purple, white, purple helmet?
I think we go wide out to start. That's our go-to for big games, I feel like. Do you
That's
remember that cookie combination we had? I hate it. It was the black helmet, white jersey, then black pants.
yes.
That was probably one of my least favorite combinations.
Was that not what we wore in the national championship?
That was. So
Yeah,
that might be why I hate it.
I don't think we'll ever wear that again.
Yeah, I hope not. But yeah, do you have anything on the North Carolina wide receivers?
No, I don't have a ton on them. That seemed like just from the brief research I did on the offensive side. I did mostly the defense. They don't seem to have a number one guy. They
Yeah.
got three or four okay guys. They don't really have a stud guy that I would say we have maybe two to three of those.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah, I
that's what
think
I
we
would
I
see.
think we have two or three guys we could easily go to. From what I was reading, like we said earlier, we really don't know who's going to be out there for them to start. So this could obviously change. But the guy whose name I saw the most was Jordan Ship. He seems like a pretty rangy guy who can go up and get balls and is pretty quick as well. So that's the guy who I would expect our number one corner to be on. Then moving on to their tight ends, the main guy I guess that stands out is Jake Johnson. He's the brother of the quarterback Max Johnson. And Lesher, fun fact for your trivia: do you know who their dad is?
Johnson. I don't.
So their dad is Brad Johnson, who was a quarterback with the Buccaneers when they made the Super Bowl, like way back in the '90s, I want to say.
Greatness.
Yeah. Yeah. So he really didn't have too many stats last year, but then again, that's the name I kept seeing most in their tight end room. So that'll be interesting to see. They have a lot of, I think, promising skill players, but for year one under Belichick, I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to have 8+ wins.
A lot of nepotism on this team. I'm finding out
Good. Yeah, that's a good call out.
a little bit. One more on the wide receiver too is a name that I saw was Kobe Paysor. It might be Paysor or Paysour. I assume it's Paysor. We'll have to
I
look.
like pace sour, so let's keep that.
Paysor. He apparently is a guy that they're really excited about, but he has already had, I think they said 2 to 3 foot surgeries on the same foot already. So he's one of those guys that, man, he has all the talent, but he can't stay healthy. That was just one other call out. That, in addition to Jordan Ship, they seem to be excited about Kobe.
Yeah, well, if that guy, it's week one, so maybe he will be on the field, but
True.
later on, who knows? Moving on to North Carolina's offensive line, it looks like there's a lot of portal guys on this unit. And it looks like they're already kind of banged up with one of their guards who is projected to start, Austin Blasky. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He had a foot injury during fall camp, and I think he's projected to be out until October, so TCU won't be facing him. They brought in a Holy Cross transfer, Christo Kelly. What a name, Christo! Shout out Christo,
Good
and
name.
yeah, also a Holy Cross transfer, which is interesting. And it looks like Colby at center. Then they brought in Willow Steen, who will be the left tackle at Jacksonville State. So a lot of lower level guys. One of them not being even D1 in Holy Cross. So that's kind of interesting to see. Then you have Aiden Banfield at left guard. Then there's a combination of guys who could fill other roles. With the Troy transfer, Daniel King, Prairie View A&M transfer, William Boone, and Travion Green. So I don't know. To me, on paper, this looks like one of the weakest lines we'll see all year. So hopefully that means it'll be a good day for our pass rush and our run stop. So we'll see. But
Yeah, it is.
nothing really like scares me for their offensive line unit.
Agreed. From what I saw, it is patchwork. I think I counted three actual returning starters, and the entire rest of the room is going to be transfers. So I would call that group just patchwork, and I would hope we can take advantage of it.
And
Worrisome,
you would,
yeah.
yeah, and you would think Belichick out of anyone would be able to pull in transfers from like notable places like Alabama, Ohio State. Like it's kind of weird you're seeing Holy Cross, Jacksonville State, Troy. I don't know. I just thought there would be higher level guys on that list, but that could easily change, and I'll look like an idiot if they just blow us off the ball every time. So
I when we get into the defense, I'll run through some transfers too. But that is the general theme is just so many new faces on both sides of the ball, including the coaching staff, which we can get into. So it's going to take. I think Belichick found some talented guys. There's no doubt about it, and he's obviously the greatest football coach, football mind of all time, arguably. But can you get 18, 19, 20 year olds to mesh together that, just got to camp a few months in? I think that's a very underrated part of the story is this is a patchwork of a team. So,
and
uh,
from what I've heard, at least about Belichick at North Carolina so far, he seems way looser than what he was with New England. So maybe that'll help them. But nothing about this roster like really scares me. Maybe they end up winning 7 or 8 games this year.
yeah, I agree. I did research the defense a little bit more, and I wouldn't say I got nervous, but there were some names on here that piqued my interest. But agreed on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think you're going to see a ton if they're running over us with that O line and that running back. That's pretty worrisome because they should be.
That's a massive red flag, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, go ahead and what do you have on the defensive side of the ball? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm taking a quick Diet Coke break since we're recording this so late.
Yes, you got to stay up. I know you're falling asleep over there.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about this before, but obviously, Bill Belichick's son Steve was the defensive coordinator at Washington last year. Comes over to North Carolina this year to follow his dad. But people kind of forget Washington's defense was not good last year. I looked it up. They averaged about 330 yards allowed per game last year, which was about the same, maybe a tad better than what North Carolina averaged last year. And we allowed 310 yards a game last year, or somewhere around there. So
Mhm.
it just kind of gives you some perspective. You didn't have a great defensive unit at Washington, and you take that over to North Carolina with a bunch of transfers, only a few months to gel. I just can't imagine that continuity is going to be there. But he did bring some talent with him.
Yeah.
On the D line, they were supposed to have a stud, Bo Atkinson, um, and it was looking like he was going to stay. I guess it was a big storyline for the team for a few months, but in the spring, he then left for Ohio State, kind of out of nowhere.
Mhm.
So that was definitely not part of their plan. They did replace him with a senior transfer from UConn who kicked their butts in the bowl game they played in. So I guess they liked what they saw. Price Yates is his name. A sophomore, Dontre Robinson from Florida. But again, all transfers and a lot of freshmen. I think I counted 7 true freshmen on that defensive line. So one returning player, his name's Leroy Jackson, and looking him up, I saw a few good plays out of him. But man, that D line that's new. It's all new for that defensive line. I did see that Steve Belichick he likes to bring his linebackers to the defensive end to kind of play that stud position,
Yep.
attack the pass rush. So maybe you can't grade the defensive line just solely off of those guys. We'll get into the linebackers next, but something to note. What do you think of that defensive line? Doesn't it just sound like how the heck are they going to make this work?
Yeah, I agree, but I think I sent this in the group chat the other day. Like a couple nights ago, I just started getting like hot sweats because I thought about Colorado in 2023 and we were saying the same exact thing. Like, oh, how's this going to work? Like, all these transfers coming from lower level schools, a couple from decent schools like Florida or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't, I'm not too scared about any unit on their team. I guess the defense I would be a little more concerned about than their offense, which we'll later get to with the linebackers and secondary. But it'll definitely be interesting to see if they can mesh well. But especially at the start of the year, I don't think that cohesiveness will be there as strong as it will be later on.
Agreed. I think it's a fair uh, statement to say playing North Carolina in week 8 is going to be totally different than playing them in week 1. And I hope we're correct in that, obviously.
Like
Um,
I said, we could just look like idiots a
we
week from now.
You
Yeah.
would think we would have learned from a few years back with Colorado, but I do believe Sonny when he says he's approaching this game differently than he did in the past. I think he learned from that. I think that was a great learning experience for the entire program. I'm hoping that it's obviously a different outcome, but that we just approach the game a little bit differently too.
And that's what it seems like. You have Hoover at quarterback. I don't think he could care less about the media if he tried. I mean, the team just seems closer than they were in 2023. So to your point, hopefully we just block everything out.
It almost feel, and we'll get to the linebackers and secondary next. I know we're going on a tangent, but don't you feel like we are the hungrier team in this game? Whereas in with the Colorado game, I feel like they were hungrier. They were making noise. They were overly confident, which played in their favor. It almost felt like we took the fetal position in that game a little bit. And I
Yeah,
feel like in this game the tune has changed a little bit that no, we were good last year. We ended on a high note. We know it. We're a congruent team, and we're going to go and show the world that we're for real. Whereas North Carolina, I feel like has kind of been in the shadows a little bit. They don't really know what their identity is. I don't know.
right.
Maybe I'm obviously totally biased.
Yeah, tangent over with. Let's move on to the linebackers.
Yeah, linebackers. So man, this was interesting to read about. I didn't realize that they were about to have a three-headed monster at linebacker. One of them was their linebacker Amari Campbell. He left for Penn State, a total stud. He's an NFL player. He'll be a great addition for the Nittany Lions. They did replace him with two great players. One, interestingly enough, is a redshirt senior, Andrew Simpson. He's a transfer from Boise State. Was All Mountain West second team 2 years ago, and who was his head coach rather 2 years.
You tell me. Is it Avalos?
Yep, exactly. So there's some familiarity there. In that year, he had 66 tackles, 6.5 sacks, two fumbles, two picks. I mean, that's a monster year for a young linebacker. So he moves over to North Carolina as a senior transfer. They also got a sophomore transfer joining Belichick from Washington. It's Kamori House. He had a big year as a freshman last year, over 30 tackles, fumble, a pick. And 247 Sports actually rated him as the third best linebacker in the portal, which I thought was noteworthy. So, man, they got some fun players. But again, a lot of transfers, not a lot of continuity there. But man, there's some talent there, which I was like, wow, I didn't realize they brought all that talent on this side.
Yeah, I didn't either. Two things here with the linebacker group. So I guess not specifically linebackers, but this Andrew Simpson guy from Boise State. Obviously, it looks like he must have played with McAllister, right? So if McAllister's going over the middle on a slant, do you think he's going to light him up, or he might give him a little love tap?
I think linebackers showed no mercy on those slants.
Even if they know the guy?
I think so, man. I
No,
think I
I'm
think it's a love language.
yeah. But yeah, this group looks way more deep and more talented than the D line they have. So that might get a little tricky on that end. And let's not forget, Elijah Jackson was actually with Belichick last year in Washington.
Yep.
So hopefully he can help the offensive coaches, like kind of let them know what Belichick's looking to do. I completely forgot about that, and until we started previewing this game.
Was he one of the injuries that is he still out? Is he out?
No, he's back to practicing,
He is
which is good. I think he was running with the second and third team. So
okay, good.
that
But
room just keeps getting deeper and deeper, which is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, absolutely. Well, moving on to their secondary, Brian Belichick, the other son, is actually their safeties coach, or their
Hand up, hand up. I didn't know he had another son.
same, same. Didn't know he was the safeties coach for the Patriots last year either.
Didn't know that either. Yep.
So no, there's a lot of nepo going on here, and hey, we don't shame that. But it is three Belichicks on staff. On this secondary, another talented group, and another Washington transfer. Dixon, they rated him as the third best corner in the transfer portal as well. So some familiarity there. And then they also had just a strong trio already in place between Marcus Allen, Caleb Cost, and Will Hardy, the three corners that they have there. So a talented group, maybe a little bit more continuity with those three guys returning. But that was really the only noteworthy thing I wanted to say was I can't believe there's another Belichick on staff. In addition to, we didn't even bring up that Freddie Kitchens is the offensive coordinator. I mean, it's just a
I,
ridiculous staff.
yeah, I feel like there's another NFL guy we haven't mentioned either. I think there's three of them,
Yeah,
or maybe four. I don't know.
Lombardi.
That's who I was thinking of.
I want
So
to
you
look.
got Lombardi, Belichick, and Freddie Kitchens.
Let me
Hell
look
of
up
a staff.
Lombardi's actual position.
Uh, so would you say, are you more nervous about their defense than their offense? Because that's kind of where I'm at.
Sorry, real quick. Michael Lombardi is the GM of the program, which is it's
He's
just
still a
crazy.
part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Sorry. What was your question?
So just looking at each side of the ball for them, are you more concerned about their defensive side than the offensive side? Because that's kind of the way I'm leaning.
Yes, I think so. I think just in general, I didn't. I should have known that they grabbed some talent in the transfer portal. I didn't know exactly who, so that was eye opening for me. I should have known they weren't just going to grab a ton of scrubs. But to your point, it's not like they got these 4 or 5 star
Yeah.
athletes that want to finish their career with Bill Belichick. Um, so yeah, I would say it was interesting to learn about some of these names and where they came from, but so they're trying to piece it together with some familiar faces, but man, it's a lot of transfers.
It is. I will give Belichick credit though. He made a career out of making like no name guys from small colleges into great NFL players.
I think one thing uh, too that I noticed, and going back to the running backs, if Omarion Hampton was still on this team, I'd be pooping my pants. Because if you have a stud running back like that, man,
Changes everything.
changes everything. So the fact that they don't really know what they're doing in the running back room, that gave me some more confidence in
Yeah.
looking deeper at this team.
What if they had Drake May, Amari, and Hampton still? That would be just a disaster.
With Bill Belichick, absolutely, truly the biggest reason I'm not overly concerned, and we'll get to our predictions here in a second, is because it's all so new.
Yeah.
If they still had those studs at those key positions, yeah, there'd be a lot more noise around this team.
And as the year progresses, I think they're just going to keep getting better and better. So I'm happy we get them week one, even though it's on the road. Moving forward, are there a couple of things you want to see from TCU? Anything in specific?
Yeah, I think I have 3 items. How many do you have?
I got three as well.
All right, we'll go back and
So
forth.
six. Yeah.
All right, we'll go back and forth. First for me is I want to see Hoover take over in the very first game. I don't know why. I'd have to look at the stats. I don't really have this to back it up, but it always feels like there's a ramp up period with him.
Are you talking about just game one or like the first few games in general?
Maybe just the first few games in general, and you can clap back with real statistics because I honestly don't have any. But it always feels. I mean, for the last 2 years, it just felt like we need to just ramp it up with Hoover. I think he will be shot out of a cannon here in week one. That's what I want to see, though. I want him to solidify that. If I see a shaky Hoover, we can excuse that for week one jitters, but it'll kind of irritate me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He was the guy going into last year, but to be fair, it was his first year starting, so maybe that had something to do with it. He
Yeah.
basically finished the last half of 2023. I think it was the last 6 games. So last year was his first full year. I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't super comfortable back then. And obviously, he's had a full off season to prepare with his guys. He should look the part in week one.
Yep. Yep. All right. What's yours? Your first item.
This is probably going to be the thing I want to see the most consistently throughout the year. Just offensive line getting a push in the run game. We've talked about that at nauseum throughout our first however many episodes. That was probably the most frustrating thing to watch last year. Say what you want about the defensive performance, but not being able to run the ball is going to lose you some games, like we saw with the UCF game last year. So, and especially with this North Carolina defensive line, they don't look like anything too special to me. So that'll be a major red flag if we get no push against them. I think they'll be able to pass protect pretty well, but the run blocking has to be way better, and that starts week one.
Yep. Absolutely. I would have taken that if you didn't. Offensive
Yep.
line. I need to see our continuity show there.
And I think Cade Bennett being back, that's going to be a massive upgrade.
Agreed.
So, yeah, you have him and Deary right in the middle. Those are two monsters. So I think it'll be fine. I want to think it'll be fine, but I'm just not 100% sure until we see it.
Yeah. Just want to see it. Absolutely.
Yep.
Second for me is Kyle Limmerman.
Fair.
I can't see him miss or even look shaky. And if he does, which I'm kind of assuming he will, look shaky at least, it's just going to keep me stressed, week in and week out.
He just needs to bomb a 50-yarder, and I think that'll just get rid of all of his jitters. So maybe that'll be the first or second drive, but he just needs like a confidence boosting kick. And it's insane that we're talking about a kicker at number 3 on our list of things we want to see.
That's where
But
we
he's
are.
gonna be so important to the team this year because in the Big 12 you're gonna be playing close games almost every week. The parity is just that equal all across the board.
Please, Coach Bryles, get us inside the 30-yard line on that first drive. Because if he is kicking a 40-plus yarder on the opening drive, I, I
Here's
wouldn't be able to watch. I'm not watching. Side note: I will be away 7 hours ahead. Reed will have to do an episode by himself for the reaction. But
Yeah,
uh,
I'm sure all the viewers are gonna not tune in for that one because you have the voice of God. Then they have to hear from my voice for an hour straight the following day.
it's almost like better for my health that I don't have to see Kyle Leverman week one. I want to just hear about it. I want everyone to say he was awesome, man. Don't worry about it. We'll see you at ACU.
In the comments, give Lesher crap about missing week one. It'll only be 2 a.m. where he's at.
I
So
know.
tell him he has to be watching the game and to suck it up and not be a baby.
I know. I know. One more note while we're on special teams, because I would assume your next point is not special teams.
Correct.
Their kicker is a transfer
From
from
where?
Marshall, and he was 14 of 19 last year. Uh, so take that with what you will. One of my bold predictions is he misses a big one.
Okay.
Like he misses one where it's a annoyingly like a 13-7 game, and he can kick one before half to make it 13-10, and he misses it. That's
You're
my.
like Nostradamus. Where is this coming
I
from?
don't know. That just came to me earlier today, and I wanted to just get that out there.
You just have that gut feeling.
Once I saw he was 14 of 19 last year, which just seems odd. I mean, it's not a lot of kicks, and he didn't make. It's not a great
Right.
percentage.
For
Uh,
Marshall,
from
yeah, that's pretty.
Marshall, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Next, I'm going to go with just the defensive line performing well. We highlighted the UNC offensive line. They already have a couple of guys banged up, a lot of transfers coming in, and I don't think it's that talented of a unit. I just want to see them perform well. There's really anything else to it. I think Avalos will have the boys ready, and I could definitely see a couple sacks. But kind of like the offensive line, the D line just has to be better this year as well, which I think they will be.
trenches have to be stronger. There's no doubt about it. And with all the returning guys, like we said, that should not be a problem.
I think Ansel Denbu is going to be one of the players of the game.
Yeah,
That
would love
that
that.
transfer we got from Washington State, he's a big boy. He's really good. I think he's going to wreak havoc up the middle.
Yep, Yep, he's back home in DFW. I'm excited to watch him play.
Yep.
Third on and last on my list is simply the running back room. Who does start? I think we talked about this in the very first episode. Who is it? I still don't know. I think it is Kavorian Barnes that does get that start, but it could absolutely be Jeremy Payne. It could be any of them.
Your bold prediction at the start, I think it was episode 1, you said Kavorian Barnes wasn't going to start. He is going to start. The way Dykes has been talking, he just has great reviews about him. So
Which again, I can't tell if that's an amazing thing, and I'm really excited for KB and how he runs, or if that tells us about our running back room in general and how we don't really know who our horse is. I truly don't know what to make of that information, but I'm hoping for the best, and I'm excited about him. He seems like a fun player.
the good thing is we're about to find out.
We are about to find out.
6 days. Well, you might find out in 7 days because you'll be asleep during the game. So never mind. I'll find out in 6 days. You have 7.
The amount of texts I'm going to have from Reed on just, oh, we got to talk.
We suck. Liverman missed a kick. All right. My final thing I want to see is just the defensive backs. That room is loaded. I'm curious to see who's going to start between Austin Jordan and Kylan Jackson. Seems like Jordan will probably get the start, but Kylan Jackson was one of the stars of fall camp. Then you have Jamel Johnson, Bud Clark, Vernon Glover, Avery Helm. The list goes on and on. The safeties and cornerback group is the deepest we've been, and I don't even know how long. So just a stud back end of the defense, and there's star players all across the board. I wouldn't be surprised to see one pick, maybe a forced fumble. I don't know. I think they'll be very, very good this year. I'm expecting big things.
I was about to ask you who gets that first turnover.
Hmm.
Is
I'm
it a
going to
fumble?
go a good story here. Vernon Glover tore his ACL last year. He was out all of last year. He gets the first pick, maybe even houses it for a pick 6.
Oh, there we go. We are making some bold predictions here. I
We're
love
going to seem like such idiots if this goes south.
it. We end up just losing 42-7. Just sound like
The podcast might shut down.
like yeah. If we lose, and let's just get to our predictions.
Yep. You go ahead.
I think we kill them, and I pride myself on being uh,
Objective.
extremely objective when it comes to TCU sports. I really do try. But this game specifically, and we'll get into my thoughts on the SMU game and Kansas State. We'll get into that as the season goes on. But this game specifically, I'm just not worried about. I really am not, and I'm glad I'm not watching in a way because I think I'll drive myself crazy if we're tied at halftime, which we very well could be. But I just know we're the better team, and so I say 38-10. That's my final
Oh
prediction.
boy, 4 tutty difference.
I do think that there's a chance it's close at half. I will say that, but man, I just know we're the better team.
That's fair. I'm just going to go 31-20. I think it's pretty close going into half. And we alluded this, I think it was an episode or two ago. We just don't play well in week 1 under Dykes.
Yep.
Everything just kind of seems slow and out of rhythm to start, and that changes as the year goes on. We get better and better. So I'll go 31-20. We win comfortably, but it's close going into the second half.
Yep. That's a very fair prediction, and I guess we'll see.
Yep, time will tell. So, do you want to move on to our 5 best bets for the week?
Yeah. So just to reiterate, Reed and I, in addition to obviously the TCU game, we're going to predict 5 games. Each of us will predict 5 games in accordance to the Vegas lines. We'll try to do different games. If they are the same game, maybe we have different takes on them, and we'll take a score through the entire year, maybe up to the championship games,
Yep.
conference championship games. We're thinking that the punishment should be a beer mile that's recorded and put on all social media. So if you guys have any other ideas, I'm certainly open to that. But right
Me as
now,
well.
that's what we're going with.
That was the first Google option I saw. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's meant to be a beer mile. So
Yes, please email in,
or
talk
comment,
Gmail,
reply,
or
whatever.
comment, whatever it is. Please give us some ideas. We're struggling here. We're trying.
We're we're trying very hard to say the least. Okay, I'll run through my five pretty quickly. First off, I'm going to go Texas plus 2.5 at Ohio State. Obviously, a repeat of a playoff game last year. I think Arch is better than Quinn, and Texas made that a super close game last year. Both teams lost a lot of players, but it's awesome that this game is being played on week one. Gives you something to look forward to, especially with that 11 a.m. kickoff. So Texas plus 2.5. I'm going to go to LSU plus 4 at Clemson. Kind of like TCU, LSU has sucked in openers recently. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a Brian Kelly thing or what, but I like the LSU roster better than Clemson. I'll take Nussmeier over Klubnik any day of the week. Then we'll move to Notre Dame minus 2.5 at Miami. Notre Dame lost Riley Leonard, but Miami lost Cam Ward, and they're replacing Cam Ward with Carson Beck. I think Notre Dame continues that run they were on last year where they made the national championship game, and they continue that good run going on this year. So Notre Dame minus 2.5. Then this is what I call the hold your nose play of the game or play of the week. You ready for this one?
Let's hear it.
We got Florida State plus 13.5 at home against Alabama. I know they sucked last year. They brought in Castellanos from Boston College. He's been talking crap, to say the least, about Alabama all off season, and that might very well bite him in the ass. We'll see. But I don't know. I like him better than Ty Simpson, the Bama quarterback. So I hate this play. I'll probably look like an idiot, but I'm going Florida State plus 13.5. Last one, kind of random off the wall. Colorado State plus 22.5 at Washington. I don't know why I've always liked Colorado State. I don't know if it's just their jerseys or their stadium. Who knows? But I've always liked them, and I like their quarterback, Braden Fowler Nicolosi. So those are my five.
Well, great name.
Great name. Hyphenated last name. You know he's good.
No, he's good. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with three of your takes. And I'll walk through the two that I disagree with. Number one being, I think Bama kills Florida State.
That's fair.
But I don't like that Castellanos kid. I've seen he just seems like a punk.
He's
Uh,
good, though.
he's good. Was he great at Boston College, or was he just good?
Who did they beat in that like opener last year where he just like popped? I don't even remember. It was against Florida State.
Was it?
Yeah, they played at Florida State if I remember correctly.
I think so.
And now he's playing with them. That's kind of weird.
That is funny. All right. Well,
Yeah. Anyway,
that is interesting. I don't know. I just don't like the Castellanos kid. And 13.5 is just screaming, easily a two touchdown win for Bama. I know it's at Florida State too, so there is that, but I'm going to go with Bama there. And who knows? I guess we'll see. That's why we love week one.
mm-hmm.
Um, the other one I disagree with is the Clemson LSU game. I think Clemson covers that spread. It's at Clemson, it's at home. I like uh, their coach over LSU's. I don't like Brian Kelly.
I don't either. I just like Nussmeier better than Klubnik. That's
And
really
that's
what it
very
comes down
fair.
to.
And I don't love Dabo, but I just do not like Brian Kelly. So, and with it being at home, I think Clemson can possibly cover that. But no doubt that's going to be an amazing game. So those are the only two I disagree with. Um, Interesting game. Arizona is going to host Hawaii, and Hawaii obviously had that crazy win in week zero a few days ago. Didn't realize that their QB got hurt, came back in the game, but reports are already out that it's not looking good for this game. So not only are they going to have to rebound from that crazy win, travel a gajillion miles,
Ugh.
and start a whomever is next in line at quarterback. I can't imagine he's fantastic. No offense to the Rainbow Warriors, but I think Arizona should be able to cover 17.5 points at home.
I like that.
Um, Another Arizona game. I'm not sure why I seem to zero in on the state of Arizona this week, but
You
Arizona
love
State,
Phoenix.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's another. It, please lay in the comments: is Phoenix a real city or a fake city? It's an ongoing debate. So that's really what Reed means by that comment. Moving on. Arizona State, 28 and a half point spread against Northern Arizona. Again, didn't even don't even know much about that school. I'm just going to say Arizona State covers that pretty pretty handedly. 28th a large spread, but I'm taking it. And the last one is Iowa State, another stinker of a game, but it's South Dakota, and they only have them as 14.5 point favorites against South Dakota.
I think that has to be due to the travel coming back from Ireland. Like their body clocks are going to be off, long travel. That
Man,
just screams due to Ireland. That's why that spread's not higher.
yeah, but even then, 14.5 just seems crazy against South Dakota. So anyway, I'm taking Iowa State, and who knows? Vegas always knows, right? But I'm going to go Iowa State covers that spread there. So those are my 5 games. We'll have to put that in writing here somewhere.
Yeah, we can put it out on Twitter or Instagram, or best 5 picks of the week, or whatever we want to call this.
I like it. That's our first week of. Well, again, we're going to pick 5 games each. We'll keep score, and we'll come up with a punishment that one of us has to do. Whoever has the worst score at the end of the year. We got our predictions in. We feel pretty good about week 1. We'll see. We'll see how Reed feels. Are you going to do just an instant reaction late Monday night, or what's your plan?
So I'm planning on having a couple of whiskey cokes. One of our buddies from college is coming over to the house. I think my dad's coming over too. So the plan as of now is to have like 2 or 3 whiskey cokes and the record right after. And my wife was like, "Hey, if like you need help, I can co-host and just ask you about the color jerseys, like how great those looked, or how Josh Hoover's hair looked that game, just kind of random stuff." But no, I think I'm going solo dolo on that.
Well, it depends how the game goes, right? If we win and
Exactly.
with flying colors, yeah, let's have a party. Who cares?
Right. But if we lose, there's going to be Reed's rants for 45 minutes
Could be in
for
a dark place.
yeah. But at least I'll be watching live and not asleep in parts of unknown.
Right. I Yeah, I guess just to wrap it all up, we do feel confident. We're trying to remain super unbiased, but this is a game where we feel like we are the better team. We feel like we've done our research. It is week 1. No one really knows, and it is Bill Belichick. You can't ignore any of those facts. But I feel like we're going to come out with a vengeance, and I'm excited to watch the highlights.
Yeah. Anyway, it should be out next Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest, and we'll see y'all then.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for listening to Talking Toads, and we'll see you after Chapel Hill.